I'll tell you, when it rains, it pours. Yep, my air compressor. It decided to pull a Amber Heard on me. It took a crap on me. So I was using it and all of a sudden it just sounded really bad. Turned it off, try to see what's going on here. Turn it back on. Still sounds horrible. Granted, the little air filter, little canister air filter that sits about right here, completely clogged with dust from the sandblaster. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't maintain this thing. I've never changed that filter once. This little tiny pump could not properly breathe. I'll give it that. Okay, it definitely sounded like it wasn't pumping any more air. It sounded bad, and I kept a eye on the gauge just for like a minute, and it definitely wasn't building pressure. I'm like, okay, I gotta go out and buy a new air compressor. I've had this one for about 6 years. But I decided, you know what? I could take it apart and maybe find out what's wrong with it. Whatever I got to lose, it's already broken, all right? So once I took the cover off, it's a pretty simple setup. This is just a regular motor up here. It's belt driven. This is kind of like a flywheel. You can see we got one connecting rod, one piston, and this is basically the piston sleeve or the bore for the piston, all right? And that just stays right there, kind of goes like that. And then this part over here is what I would call the cylinder head. And this is just a bunch of like one-way valves. Like basically it could suck air in through these bottom holes. You can see these little flaps on the bottom would open up to let the air in. And then it pushes the air out the top 3 hose. And you can see these are 3 more flaps up here to let the air out. Or vice versa, but basically that's how it works. You can see we got some O-rings. We got one there and another one right here, and they both look properly worn out. But that's not the noise I was hearing. The noise I was hearing was sounding like all the compression that the little piston was trying to make was being lost somewhere, like it was escaping instead of being pumped into the tank. So I took this apart. So there's a little screw right here. Basically, the face of the piston unscrews and comes right off. And then you have access to this O-ring, which is technically, it's like a piston ring. And this is what seals inside of the bore and creates your compression. And look what I found. Yep, we blew out a piston ring. So I'm going to see if I could find these parts. If I can, this looks like a pretty simple rebuild, and we'll get this baby back in business. And I guess I'll try to maintain it a little bit better going on to the future. But it really all depends if we could find these parts. Looking at what's actually wrong here, this is pretty simple fix, honestly. Alright, so a short update. I was able to find the parts through Home Depot because that's where I bought this Husky branded air compressor. And guys, you can't really buy any of the seals or O-rings or any of that stuff. You can buy it separate. For the let's just call it a piston ring, they want to sell you the entire piston with the sleeve, which is the bore, and honestly it's not too expensive, okay? And then as far as the other part, those 2 little rubber O-rings, again, you got to buy the whole metal plate just to get the gaskets for it. All in all, with a brand new air filter, I'm looking at like $80. So not horrible. It's way cheaper than buying a brand new air compressor. And let's be realistic, if I were buying a new compressor, I would be upgrading. So I'd be at minimum like $1,500 to $2,000 to get a bigger air compressor the second time around. At this point, I'd rather just spend the 80 bucks. All right, especially considering I come out this morning and that freaking light is over there flashing. I tell you, when it rains, it pours. So it's a few days later and we got our parts in. We have a brand new filter. And I'm not going to take the cap off, but I can see that filter inside of there looks brand spanking new. Way better than the one that we have. Here goes this part, brand new. And of course, you got brand new gaskets for it. At the end of the day, this is all I really needed, but you got to buy the whole piece. And our new piston and ring. I'm just gonna go ahead, throw this on, and hope for the best. Alright, so I got the old piston and sleeve off. This bolt was a 19 millimeter. I wasn't sure if it was a reverse thread, so I just kind of tried both ways, and it's just a regular thread. No thread locker. I think I will end up putting some thread locker on there. And as soon as that came off, I had to pry off this bearing surface. You can see I have my two like panel prying tools. I just got behind it, pried it off, and then once it popped out, of course the piston, like they call it the connecting rod, and the sleeve just kind of fell right out. Surprisingly, I was expecting this bearing to kind of be destroyed since I've been running for years without any maintenance, but it actually feels really good and it sounds good. So either way, we got a new one. So seems pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go ahead and pop in the new piston assembly. So I was gonna pop this on either way, but if you look at the text that's on here, it actually says this side out, so there is a specific way it has to go. There goes part numbers for anyone who's wondering. And on the bearing, this is a different bearing from the original one. It has a different name brand. You can see this one, they're both made in China. This one says Peer right there on top, P-E-E-R. The other one doesn't. And I guess that would be the part number right there. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, pop this in. And I was doing some research on these type of like piston rings and these type of small engines. You're not supposed to lubricate. If you put any type of lubrication inside of this bore, you will destroy the new piston ring. You just have to run them dry. That's how they're designed to run. I guess, you know, keep them clean, hence the point of a filter, which I never cleaned mine. And it seems like if you can't get it to line up, instead of forcing a piston, you could always rotate the belt and get the like flywheel to turn. So that might be an option. Alright, so the old one was a snug fit, so I'm just gonna get like a plastic hammer and just give it a few love taps, nothing crazy. Actually, we'll see if a handle works. I think we're bottomed out already. Looks good. Looks good on this side. Remember, this is gonna get pushed in. Let's put the bolt on. I'm gonna put just a hair of blue thread locker. Alright, like I said, 19 millimeter. Alright, I need 2 hands for this. I'm gonna give it a few ugga duggas. When I took it off, that thing was on there pretty tight. The impact gun was giving it a few hits before it even started moving, and it has no thread locker from factory, so you know it was on there pretty tight. So I went ahead and cleaned up inside of here the best I can. You can see the staining is not going away, not a big issue, but I did clean all the mating surface, got all any contamination off. See, the mating surface looks pretty good. On this side, the new O-rings are getting a little bit of a silicone paste. Number 1, to help them stay in place. Number 2, to help them seal. And I did this side already. This pretty much just flops on side of there. And then we'll put the back O-ring in place when it's ready to go back onto the engine. Alright, so it's pretty much ready to go back on. See all that? That O-ring goes on this side. If you take yours apart, it'll be pretty obvious. And put the large O-ring right there. They both have silicone paste on them to hold them in place. I'm just gonna grab this and bolt it onto the engine with the 4 bolts. By the way, I also put a little bit of blue thread locker on each of the 4 bolts. Alright, the cylinder head is all torqued down with the 4 10 mils. So pretty much go ahead and put this pipe back on. Notice there's an O-ring right there. Mine's just a little chewed up, not too bad. But it was sealing before. I'm gonna see if I could take a chance on it. If it ends up leaking, it's easy to replace it, not a big deal. So we'll thread this back in. And the filter goes on right here on the bottom. Now the filter technically goes on after the cover gets reassembled, but I'm gonna put it on right now anyways, just for the sake of testing when we do first start up and make sure it actually sounds right. Alright, everything's all put together. Compressor's plugged in. Let's start her up. It's either gonna work or blow up. She sounds nice and quiet. Sweet. All right, so I'm gonna start putting the casing back together, and this thing should be all set. It sounds better than new. It hasn't sounded this good in a long time, so I got a feeling that piston O-ring was going out for a long time. It was starting to fail little by little, and then it just gave up the ghost because I wasn't expecting it to sound this quiet. Anyway, let me put it all back together. So the compressor ran its first cycle from completely empty to full, no issues at all. And I noticed that from empty to full, it took less time than with the previous parts on the compressor of when it still had air in the tank, but it was just trying to top itself off as I'm using it. That short top off time was longer before with the old parts than a completely empty to fill cycle with the new parts. It's crazy. I'm loving it.